Hey guys, RC here. Welcome back. Episode 8 of our Kansas City Royals Let's Play. We're going to start this video on a little bit of a more somber note. Some good news, actually, but definitely outside of the realm of games and playing and having fun. This is kind of real life stuff. I've mentioned Rod Carew several times in the course of this Let's Play series. Of course, in the Hall of Fame, made his mark with the Minnesota Twins. Did play for the California Angels at the end of his career, the last 7 years there. One of my favorite players, great hitter. Uh, he, along with George Brett, career, led the league in hitting. Some of the only guys, along with Tony Gwynn, to be able to even think about challenging for a 400 average for a season. Came across a news story this morning. So of course, Rod is 30 years old here in our game. He's hitting 293, 3 homers, 29 RBIs, 22 stolen bases here in the first half of this current season. And this morning, this news story popped up on my feed, and I did not realize that Rod had been sick. According to this, he had a heart attack about a year ago, and has been in very poor health. Um, yeah, here we go. He's 71 years old now. Major heart attack while playing golf in 2015. Close to death. Um, and basically he used this as a to start up a foundation to bring awareness to heart disease, help with prevention of heart attacks. So kudos to him for that. Sadly, Conrad Rowland was a Baltimore Raven, played football for in the NFL for a short period of time, and he died, had a brain aneurysm. Uh, just not, in December. He was 29 years old, and his heart went to Rod Carew. So Rod had a heart transplant in December, and right after Conrad passed away, and is doing very well. Has met with Conrad's family, and you know condolences out to the Rowland family for their loss, to the Ravens family and fans for their loss, um, and then congratulations to Rod's family, the Twins, the Angels, everybody that ever supported Rod and followed his career. That as he himself says, he's gotten a second chance at life. Uh, you know, Conrad's mom said you're part, said that he's part of their family now. Rod acknowledged that he will forever be a part of their family. So, some sad news, some good news, all tied in together. Just so I wanted to bring that up because it got my attention this morning, and I knew Rod was one of my favorite players, so certainly glad to see that he is doing well. And a lot, some of that was news I was not even aware of. So, and then of course, again, condolences and thoughts and prayers go out to the Rowland family, for their loss, and for their charity. For that's a hard decision. I myself am a organ donor. I'm signed up to be an organ donor. Um, whenever my time comes. That if you can help, you're not going to be using those organs anymore. At least that's my thought. And if you can bring some peace and give a second chance at life to someone else, with you being gone, then part of you lives on. Uh, so anyway, just if you've ever thought about organ donation, give it some thought, and maybe sign up for it. You might be able to save a life. You might be able to save a dozen lives with once you're gone. Hopefully not anytime soon, but We never know. I mean, Roland was what, 29 years old. Uh, you know, I'm actually old enough to be his dad. Now my oldest is only 20, but I'm old enough to be his dad. Had I gotten an early start at the baby game, so that certainly kind of hits home that you just never know when those events can transpire. So anyway, enough with the somber start to the video, and let's get back to it. Honestly, I have not recorded here in a couple of days, so I am not sure exactly where I left off. So we'll just kind of pick up. We're not to the end of the month yet, so we won't do the monthly wrap up just yet. We had gone on a 4-game win streak. We went 4-6, unfortunately, in our last 10. But we have yo-yoed back up and down, and I think that was actually the title of my last video, was yo-yoing in the standings or something to that effect. Hal McRae leading the American League, and let's see, I don't remember. Okay, so we swept the Rangers, and we lost 2 out of 3 to the Tigers right after getting swept by the Yankees. So, I mentioned in season 1 my goal's to win 2 out of every 3, but we've got a sweep here, lost 2 out of 3, a sweep here, lost 2 out of 3. So basically, the Ranger series is the first series that we've, quote, won all month. That's not going to help us any. And then, of course, we face the Twins coming up here in the next sim, and they are the leaders in our division, so that's going to be a very crucial series for us to kind of stay within striking distance of them, or if they start to open a lead that starts blowing people out of the water. We did make a couple of trades. One of my viewers, and I need to get better at writing down the names, but one of the viewers had mentioned trading for Rod Guidry, who I've mentioned several times, one of my favorite players from my hometown. Naturally, I had already done that at the time he posed the question. I just didn't want to let the cat out of the bag. So even as of today, when I'm recording this, you guys are not aware that I've made that trade. It will come up in one of the two or three videos between the last one that he posed the suggestion and this one when you actually hear this. But I do have him in the rotation, of course. We've got a lot of injured guys. Hank Aaron came back from his injury, I believe. Yes, he did. And he is hitting 348 in 6 starts. And what we've done with him is we have put him back out in left field to start playing regularly now, that because you remember when he first came off the DL, he was still hampered with the hamstring injury. So we had him coming off the bench as a pinch hitter. But now we've got our basically our starting 9 outside of our first baseman, who is still well, actually, we traded him, did we not? Yes, we did. All right, so let's go look at front office transactions, transaction log. And this is June, May. All right, there's where we signed Rod Guidry to an extension. We traded away Otenzio and Caudle and Marty Patton to get Rick Burleson. I think that was a good trade. Patton would have been serviceable for us this year, but at 33, I think he was on the downside of his career. So we were able to get a quality second baseman to fill in for Lee Lacy, who was hurt for a long time. And then when Lacy comes back, Burleson can slide over to shortstop, which is probably going to make Freddie Patek dispensable. John Mayberry is who we traded for Ron Guidry. So between those two trades, we lost both of our first basemen, and that is what has led to putting Ron Fairley over at first base, which of course he can't run very well, because of his. Well, actually, he is back to full health. He was also dinged up with some injuries, but getting Hank Aaron into left field, he can't play first. Fairly can, so we slid McRae over to right field. So that's kind of where we're at. So this is probably as strong as we're going to be all season until Lacey gets back, and then we can make some adjustments there. But even with that, if we take a look at Patek, I mean Patek's hitting 283, 4 homers, 20 RBIs, 329 on base percentage. 24 stolen bases. He's been caught a lot. I might need to dial his stealing back, but we'll let him continue to run as he wants. So that gets us up to speed. So let's go ahead and knock out a week, if you don't mind. And that gets us the whole week. So first off, let's check the standings. We are 7-3 over our last 10. We've lost one game, but we've only made up a game on the Twins, and Oakland is still right there with us. Still only a game and a half separating us from second and last place. Let's go in and look at our schedule. So we had a short series with Oakland. We split that, and then we took 2 out of 3 from the Twins, so that was big. 9-8, I am willing to bet we lost that one late. We did. We gave up a run in the 8th to tie it, and then they got 2 in the 10th, and we were not able to make up that difference. Let's see. Starting with pitching, Bryles got roughed up. Not a good outing for him. Fitzmaurice went 3 solid innings of relief. Bird, no runs, no earned runs, but he got the blown save with the walk. I guess we pulled him out. Hrabowski came in and gave up the run that was credited to Bird, and then he took the loss with the second run. Oh, I'm just not sure about him. I know he's a all-star, potential all-star. Boy, he blows a lot of saves and has a lot of losses. Let's see. Gene Tennant's got his 4th homer of the season for Oakland, and we've talked about Oakland, what a team they were at this period of time in the mid 70s. Really good team. Burleson and Patek with stolen bases. Patek got caught again one time. Patek had a double. Anybody? Oh, Patek went 2 for 5 with 4 RBIs. Very good game for him. Certainly trying to make himself indispensable. I guess he sees the writing on the wall with Burleson there. Burleson went 2 for 5. The next game we won 2-1, so that was a pitcher's duel. Vita Blue, we've beaten him twice this season, I think. Guidry, 6 innings, 1 run. Nice outing for Louisiana Lightning. Mengori with the hold, and Hrabowski with a perfect inning. Well, not perfect. He gave up a hit, but got the save. Amos Otis, his 9th home run of the season. George Brett still sitting on 1 home run. That is just mind-boggling to me. I mean, we've got guys on this side. Joe Rudy's at 10, Reggie's at 7, and Amos Otis is leading the way with 9 for us, and I don't have anybody else above 4. Kind of scary for the offensive production. Minnesota, Paul Splittorff, he got roughed up, 6 runs on 8 innings, but we had enough juice on Mike Flanagan to get the win there. Flanagan, of course, came over in the trade from the Orioles we talked about a couple of videos back. Hrabowski, 2/3 of an inning, shutout ball. That's nice to see from him. 13th save. No home runs in this game for us. Woods and Soderholm got homers off of Splittorff. And Rod Carew, of course, up there. He 1 for 4. Patek 2 for 4's got his average up to 284. Brett 2 for 4 with an RBI. 2 for 4, 3 RBIs for Fairley. He's up to 23 RBIs on the season. McRae and Otis, boy, they're really driving the bus for our offense, aren't they? That is crazy. Dutch Leonard, 11 innings. Look at the stud he is, man. 10 hits, 3 runs off 11 innings. Herbowski comes in for 2 innings. Bird gets the win. This one went 18. Wow. So the tying run scored in the 7th. We both scored in the 10th. And we got the winning run in the bottom of the 18th. Wow. And 3 errors. That's not very good. Fairley, Aaron, and Stinson. Well, Fairley and Aaron, that's not surprising. Aaron, his first of the season. Um, wow. Speaking of Aaron, 0 for 2. He's down to 250. So that's I'm afraid we're seeing the very end of Hammer and Hank here. He's still got solid ratings, but not what they were for sure. Um, you know, and no power. I mean, he's got some power. Let's see. Yeah, pretty. He's still very even. I mean, everything's the same, left and right. So he's not being hurt from one side of the plate or the other. Yeah, just we knew we weren't going to get Aaron in his prime. I mean, he is 42 here in the game. Uh, Speaking of Aaron, I was actually watching some highlights on my ESPN app this morning, and the Braves christened their new baseball stadium, and Hank was the one that was brought in to throw out the first pitch. Um, really tear-jerking moment almost because he was on a walker. He had a walker cane with him, and he kind of wound up a couple of times and then ended up having to toss the ball underhand to the catcher, and the catcher was pretty close. But I mean, Aaron is he's up there. He's up there, and he's going to be one of those guys that you know when he goes, we're going to lose a big part of baseball history. When his time here on Earth is done. But you still, I still picture, him running around the base. The old historical footage when he hit the 715th home run, and the two guys run out of the stands and are patting him on the back, rounding second base. Um, that's the Hank Aaron I still picture in my head, and of course that was many years ago, um, and we've all gotten older, and so when you actually see current footage of these old stars that you looked up to, and you realize that that's what they are. They're older stars now. Uh, it's kind of offsetting a little bit. But anyway, it was very cool to see him honored that way to throw out the first pitch to break in their new stadium. And I saw that this morning. So anyway, just to share that. Let's see. This was the loss, 7-4. They got 4 runs in the 8th inning. Busby takes the loss. Let's see. Stinson got his first home run of the season, our catcher, and he had a double, so that was a busy game for him. Johnny Walkenfuss, his 4th home run of the season. Well, that's a name off the baseball cards that I remember. Um, Fairley 1 for 3 with an RBI. Stinson 3 for 4, 3 RBIs. He's hitting 219. That's not really good. But it is what it is, and that was our week in baseball. So let's check out our emails. Yastrzemski gets his 2,500th hit, so 2,500 career hits for the 36-year-old Yaz. Tom Seaver on top of his game, a 2-hit shutout. Don Sutton got a 4-hit shutout. Ricky Henderson got dinged up a little bit. Carlton Fisk and Louis Tiant are jawing at each other in the Boston clubhouse. Update on the All-Star voting. You can kind of read through that as you desire. Pause the video if you would like. Rod Carew, leading vote getter there. Let's see, this George Brett still leading the way at third base. Amos Otis, about 300,000 votes behind Fred Lynn in center field. And Al Hrabowski still maintaining a slight lead on Goose Gossage in the reliever position. Over in the National League, Johnny Bench, of course, just dominating the catcher position and the overall vote, I would bet. A lot of Reds with over 1 million votes. Look at that, third base. All three people over 1 million votes. Schmidt, Cubbage, and Pete Rose. I guess that was a stacked position, you think? Rick Monday, that was a guy that I liked with the Dodgers. Dave Parker, another one of my favorite players from this era. Tug McGraw, we talked about him. His book was pretty interesting. He's a character. He's a character. Let's see. Gaylord Perry, Player of the Week in the American League. Let's see, two wins and a 0 ERA. I guess he threw a lot of spitballs this week. He needs a cane to climb the mound, but he threw two complete games shutouts in 1 week. Very nice. Tim Hosley, 29 of the Cubs. I hope I pronounced that right. He's a player that I don't really know. I actually don't recall hearing about him at all. But 1 home run, 4 RBIs in 5 games last week. Hit .542 for the week, .247 for the season. Starting pitching, per 9 inning strikeouts, Nolan Ryan at 10.2, Carlton at 8.8, Tanana 8.6, Seaver 8.5, Frank LaCourte of Atlanta at 8 per game. And Cincinnati Reds are leading the way in the power rankings, and the Royals we maintained at 13th. So not too hot. Tell you what, we're going to go ahead and quickly run just to the next month. Staggs is eligible to come off of the DL. So he's 250, 279 the year before. He's certainly not going to supplant Burleson, I don't think. I wouldn't think. We've got 25 guys up there. Who is... I've got to figure out what to do with him. Murphy. I kind of need Murphy because of shortstop, don't I? Oh, wait, no. Staggs can play shortstop, can he not? Yes, he can. All right, so if we go back over here. All right, Gates is at third, 417, 416. Second, third, and short. He's a better defensive player, so I think I'm going to keep Murphy up, although he's not the best bat for... He's 21. I'm going to go ahead and keep Gates up, I think. So we're going to send Murphy down. And then we can bring Staggs up. And then we'll real quickly see what that does to our depth charts. Alright, so Staggs will back up at second. Gates will be around the horn. Staggs will actually get a start here every 3 weeks, it looks like. Stinson we've got programmed in to be the starter. And that still keeps our outfield the same. Alright, so that's going to be what we're going to do there. Let's go ahead and try to finish out the month. There we are, personal message. Alright, so I'll go back because we haven't finished the week yet, so we'll come back and read all of this. This is where I want to do the monthly wrap up, and let's see how much time we have here. We've got about 2.5 minutes, so we can breeze through some of this. Let's go to the standings page. Hal McRae, 373, leading the league for our team. Fred Lynn of Boston's at 345. Jim Rice with 16 homers leading the American League. Don Baylor and George Hendrick at 15 homers. Baylor with 57 RBIs. So he's in the chase there, except he's only hitting 311. So no Triple Crown threat, really. Mike Hargrove, he, of course, became the Cleveland Indians manager when they went on that big run in the 90s with Carlos Baerga and Juan Gonzalez, who they got from Texas. So that's the same Mike Hargrove that would become the Indians' boss down the road. George C. Scott, not the actor, but the baseball player. Two different guys. Davey Lopes with 36 stolen bases. Boy, it would be strange seeing him in pinstripes, let me tell you. Bill North, Hal McRae again. Rick Burleson is riding a 17-game hit streak, as is Larry Heisel and Jim Rice. Paul Splittorff has climbed into the ERA chase at 2.16. And Mickey Lolich leading the American League for the Tigers at 12 wins. The Yankees have opened up a 3.5 game lead, but they are in a slight slump, 4-6 over the last 10 games. The big mover there is Cleveland, 8-2 in the last 10, but they're 11.5 out, probably done for the season. I don't think they'll make a big enough move to get up to the top of that board. The Twins, 7-3, riding a 4-game win streak, still maintaining that 3.5 game lead over Kansas City, who we have been hot, 8-2 over the last 10. Oakland has now fallen another full game back of the Royals, and we have now opened up about a 4-game spread between second and fifth place, where it's been mostly 1.5 games all season long. So we're starting to see a division, and luckily we're in the good half of that. California continues to slump badly, 20 games back, and they are probably looking to hit the beach every day. We'll go ahead and finish the league roundup, and then we'll do the, well, you know what, I tell you what, let's go ahead and put a cut in right here. I don't want the videos to get too long, so we'll put a cut in here. We'll come back. We'll finish off the National League review. We will do the rest of the week, and then we'll evaluate the emails and everything at that time. So, guys, thanks for checking it out. We will see you in the next video. And I've also started a new series. It's a college basketball series that I'm putting up. So that's using the game Fast Break College Basketball, which is by Gray Dog Software. So check that out if you're a college basketball fan. That's going to actually be a career where I'm starting off as like Joe Nobody with one of the worst teams in the country, and we will see where it goes from there. So check that out on my channel if you're a college basketball fan. I've also got the college football one going, where we are trying to replicate the wishbone offense that was popular back in the 1970s and 80s. Playing that one is Oklahoma. And then, of course, the baseball one. Hope you guys are enjoying this one. We'll see you next time. Take care.